fasting. So let's get our Facebook people in here. Our Facebook people are here. Assalamu alaikum. Today we are continuing our discussion on extended fasts. So if you have been following me for the last couple of days, you know I am doing my quarterly or seasonal 3-day water fast. Today is day 2 for me. I think I'm at about hour 46, I think about hour 46 of only drinking water. I did have 1 cup of coffee today, but that's all I've had since in the last 42 hours. I have really been trying to stay hydrated, which is super, super important when you're doing an extended water fast. So I promise you that I will come today and I will talk to you a little bit about what is actually happening on the physiological levels when you're fasting more than 24 hours. So we did a live yesterday, and yesterday we talked about some of the benefits of intermittent fasting, and I got a few questions, and so I'm going to answer those today, as well as just give you kind of like an hour by hour breakdown. Well, not an hour by hour, but a little breakdown of what is actually happening in the body when you go longer than 24 hours fasting. So if you are just joining me and you are wondering what we are and who we are and what we do, my name is Mubaraka Ibrahim, and I am your health and happiness coach. And here on the Fit Muslim platform, we talk about food, faith, and fitness. If you believe that physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is intertwined, and the weakness of one weakens them all, and the strengthening of one strengthens them all, then welcome. You have found your tribe. We are your peoples. So come in, have a seat. Let's talk a little bit about how those things are intertwined. Wa alaikum salam, Fatima on Facebook, Izara on Facebook, Anonymous Piano. Yes. Assalamu alaikum. And Queen Mariama. Assalamu alaikum on Instagram. So we are talking intermittent fasting, people, but we're not talking about daily intermittent fasting. I've talked about that at length on my platform, but periodically I talk a little bit about extended fast. So for our reference, let us remember that when we talk about intermittent fasting, we are talking about when you are fasting for less than 24 hours, right? When we talk about extended fast, that means that we are fasting for more than 24 hours. So I am in the middle of an extended fast, which means my intentions is to fast for 72 hours, which is 3 days. And I am about a third of the way there. One of the benefits of, so let's talk about the pros and cons, right? The pros and cons, really important. Oh, let me do my disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. I am a health and fitness coach, and you can see my bio if you scroll down on my platform. I reintroduce myself like every 2 weeks and list my entire bio and all of my degrees and certifications and all of that. So you can go look at that if you're interested in seeing that. But I have to say that that is my disclaimer. So I always recommend that when you want to adopt a different eating style or exercise, it is always recommended that you talk to your medical doctor. And my information is not to treat or prevent or diagnose any illness. All right, disclaimer out of the way. Okay, now that we have that all together, let me talk to you a little bit about some pros and cons that I have found in talking to people about fasting and about who should and should not fast. This is really important. It reminded me to say that because I did have a comment under one of my posts that says, well, how long should you fast if you have hypoglycemia? You should not, right? There are certain people that this is not the protocol for them. And if you have hypoglycemia, which means if you go a certain amount of time, your insulin drops to a dangerous level. This is different than hyperglycemia, which is diabetes or pre-diabetes, right? This is different. If you have hypoglycemia and it had been diagnosed by a doctor, then fasting is probably not something that you should undertake on your own. You should do it with a medical supervision, all right? If you are pregnant, you should not be doing a 3-day fast, right? The baby needs nutrients. You are doing one of the most amazing human feats possible. You are literally creating life and a human being inside of your body with the permission of Allah. So don't worry about doing this if you are pregnant. If you are breastfeeding, then it depends on what level of breastfeeding that you're in. So oftentimes women who are solely the nutrition source of their child, your child may be under 6 months, it's difficult to actually do an extended fast and have enough milk for the baby. It's also sometimes it can be difficult just to do a shorter fast. It's all on an individual basis and depending on whether or not you are the sole nutrition for your child or if they have additional or if they're eating food or other nutritional source. Some people breastfeed and feed, some people breastfeed and bottle feed. So you have to make that decision on your own, but pay really close attention to make sure that your child is getting the proper nutrients that they need. So those are some of the people who should not, definitely should think 2, 3, 4, 5 times before they consider doing an extended fast. The other thing that I want to actually be very clear about is that for these particular videos, we are talking about an extended fast, which is more than 24 hours, which is different than shorter fasts. If you're doing a 16-hour fast every day or a 20-hour fast every day, that is a whole different category. Extended fast, it changes things a little bit. So for an example of some of those changes, a difference between an extended fast and a shorter fast is one of the benefits of an extended fast is its benefit on our gut microbiome. Now, we've heard a lot of information lately on the interweb about how important gut microbiome is. It's considered our second brain. We know that 80% of our immune system is inside of our gut. Like, it's super, super important. The balance of those bacteria, to have a diversity of bacteria. We have a whole universe that's keeping us healthy, right? When we think about our health, when we think about our immunity, when we think about how strong we are or whether or not we lose weight and gain weight, metabolism, we always think about all those big things. Well, my heart is healthy and my lungs is healthy and this and that. But what is actually determining our health on a much larger level is all of those little teeny microscopic bacteria inside of our gut. It's actually, this is one of the reasons why I constantly tell people, like, weight loss is not it's not a mathematical equation. It is, hey, if I only eat this amount of calories, then I will definitely lose weight. If that was the case, then weight loss would be super easy and nobody would be overweight. But it's not, because you can actually be having the same amount of calories that someone next to you have, and whether or not you store those calories as fat or burn them as fuel is determined by your gut microbiome. They've done this research studies in twins, one overweight, one normal weight, and even when eating the exact same thing, one gains weight, one stays slim. And what the difference that they found was certain gut microbiome. So one of the benefits that they found with doing intermittent fasting is that it actually helps to improve the microbiome of your gut. Particularly, there are 3 particular ways in which it helps do this. And the interesting thing is that they did a research study where they took 12-hour fasts versus 18-hour fasts, and they found that people who fast for only 12 hours actually did not have a change in their gut microbiome, but the 18-hour mark actually began the change, particularly change in gut bacteria that is associated with obesity and diabetes. So those are 2 huge benefits of doing longer fasts, right? And this is only at 18 hours. What they also have found is that when you do a 5-2, so this is really, really interesting. You know, as Muslims, we know that one of the sunnahs is to fast on Mondays and Thursdays. This is 2 non-consecutive days, right? And so they've actually done studies where they actually have people to eat regularly 5 days a week and then fast 2 of those days. And one particular study, just doing 4 cycles of that. So think about 1 month, you decide that you're going to do the sunnah fast on Mondays and Thursdays, just 4 cycles of fast, of doing 2 days a week of fast, of intermittent fasting in particular. 2 days a week of intermittent fasting actually significantly decrease bacteria that is associated with colon cancer. Right? So this is huge. This is significant. So this is one of the things where if you follow me all the time, I always tell you that I love learning about the science of the sunnah, right? So there's so many sunnahs that now research actually shows us that there are multiple benefits to it. I call it the science of the sunnah. So if you see that hashtag, I made it. It's the science of the sunnah. So this is actually one of the proofs of the science of the sunnah, that it decreases significantly the bacteria that is associated with colon cancer. So this is one of the huge benefits. So what happens when you are fasting for more than 24 hours? So there's a couple of things that is really important that happens with longer fasts that do not happen with shorter fasts. So one of those things is autophagy. So we explained yesterday, and if you didn't catch that video, it's still on the profile. You can scroll down wherever you are, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And one of the benefits of fasting for an extended period of time is autophagy, our body's ability to detoxify itself, right? This is not, I got to go get a supplement, or I got to only drink this type of food, or drink this type of food. This is your body's natural ability, which we have, which every human being has. Actually, every mammal, in fact, has this ability. It's called autophagy. And what it does is that it literally repairs and replaces cells at a cellular level. It restores, repairs, replaces, and renews. All of those R's. It does all of that, and it is called autophagy. It doesn't tick up until hour 24, right? We have small levels of autophagy that's happening all the time, which is the reason why I say most people actually, they use detox as a catchphrase, and they think that we're walking around and we're this huge bottle of toxins that's not getting rid of, that's not being expelled from our body. But in fact, we have small levels of autophagy going on while we're sleeping, and when we go without meals. So all of that happens on a smaller level for us. But when you go 24 hours without consuming any food, without any digestive activation, meaning that you're not consuming anything that is going to cause digestion. So that means we're not doing a juice fast. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking water, right? When you do that for 24 hours, then your autophagy actually begins to pick up at the 24-hour mark. The other thing happens at the 24 hours, your body has drained all of its glycogen stores, right? So when you eat carbohydrates, when you eat sugar, doesn't matter where it comes from. This is including eating fruit, because I always got this debate. People are like, but fruit is natural. It's still sugar. All right. It's still sugar, still carbs. Right? Don't matter if it's a whole food source. It's going to act the same way in your body. So when you are consuming carbohydrates, your body is turning them to glucose and then storing them as glycogen, right? And when it does that, it's stored in 3 places. It's in 3 places, right? You test it out of your blood. It's in your blood. It goes into your liver, and it's also stored inside of your muscles. Those are the 3 places in our body where we store glucose and glycogen. Well, you don't have an unlimited storage of that. That is why people eat more carbohydrates, right? I'm feeling tired. Let me go grab some sugar. I'm feeling tired. Let me go grab a bagel, right? Because your body actually depletes itself, or it uses it, or it stores it. It doesn't just holds it and say, hey, let me give it to you for energy. It gives some for energy and it stores some inside of those spaces, and it also converts it into fat. So when you are fasting for 24 hours, all of those stores are depleted. There's no more, you have not taken in any more carbohydrates. So now your glycogen and glucose stores are depleted. Your body says, well, if I'm not getting energy from carbohydrates, where am I going to get energy from? The answer to that is it develops ketones. It takes your stored fat, right? If you were eating fat, it would take part of the fat that you're eating, but it takes your stored fat and it converts it into ketones and use ketones for energy. So at 24-hour marks, that's where you are. Are you in a complete state of ketosis? It varies from person to person. If you've never done a low-carb diet before, if you have a metabolic dysfunction like diabetes or pre-diabetes or PCOS, it may be harder for you or take a little longer for you to get into complete ketosis, right? So it depends on where you are in terms of your health and in terms of your diet and in terms of your metabolic flexibility. That's a whole nother video. But many people can get in ketosis within 24 hours if they have followed a low-carb lifestyle for a while, but everybody will be producing ketones at this point, all right? So ketone, now your body is using your fat for energy, 24-hour mark. All right, we keep on going to the 36-hour mark. The biggest thing about the 36-hour mark is that your autophagy level has now increased 300%. This is when your body is doing some really hard work in repairing and restoring itself. Now, this brings me to the question that I get very often on whether or not you should exercise while you are doing a 3-day fast. Here's the pros and cons of that. In order to get any of the benefits that I've talked about today or in previous videos about extended fast, you actually do not have to exercise. The research is about the fasting, regardless of people's activity level. The activity level is not taken into account when determining the benefits of the fast. So you don't have to fast. There's also plenty of research studies where people do not actually exercise while they are fasting, and the benefits are still there. So you don't have to exercise. However, if you are used to exercising and you have the energy and you want to continue on your regular routine, it's absolutely fine for you to exercise. What I do not recommend is that you've never exercised before and all of a sudden you want to use this 3-day water fast to pick up an exercise routine. Not a good idea. Your body is already under metabolic stress, which is a good metabolic stress, and picking up an exercise routine will also put it under metabolic stress when you first get started. So you want to make sure that you aren't overstressing your body for no good reason. At hour 36, your body is really busy. It's really busy. There's really no need to add additional stress to your body. Hour 36, it's like, okay, we rocking and rolling. We are repairing, we are restoring, and it's okay. Like the first time that you do a 36-hour fast or a longer fast, it's okay for you to actually feel a little lethargic at this point, or sometimes people actually will feel a little nauseous, or they'll have to do a lot of bowel movements. Everybody's body reacts differently, but all of those things are absolutely normal. They're normal because your body is in a process of correcting what's wrong with your body. It's also very individual, right? And it also can change every time that you take on a 3-day fast. I think this may be maybe the 4th or 5th time that I've done a 3-day fast. Like I said, I do them for the last couple of years. I've been doing them about every season, so every 3 months or so. And when I did it for the first time, my body reacted very differently than I did it from the second time or the third or the fourth or even this time, right? My body is reacting a little different each time that I do it. So pay attention to your body, listen to your body. Our body is an amazing, amazing machine that can heal itself, that can communicate its needs to you. We just have to learn how to listen, all right? Super, super important. All right, at the 48-hour mark, autophagy is still going up. And at this point, the immune system has completely reset and regenerated itself, right? It's now at a point where it's like, okay, I've been working hard, right? You also increase in what we mentioned in our last video, those C-reactive protein, those anti-inflammatory proteins, right? So if your goal for the fast is like, hey, you know what? I've been having a really hard time with my arthritis lately. I really need to significantly lower the inflammatory markers in my body because I'm in pain, right? That 48-hour mark is going to be super important for you. If you have like IBS and you're in the middle of a flare and it's really causing you a lot of issues and you need to lower those inflammatory markers as soon as possible, that's another reason why 48 hours may be an important mark for you. Again, refer to my disclaimer. I'm not trying to treat, prevent, or diagnose any illnesses. These suggestions are based on research studies, right? They've done research studies, and these studies are not like some secret thing in some secret file that I'm finding. Like, you can literally go to the NIH website and look up IBS and intermittent fasting. There are plenty of studies on it. You can look up rheumatoid arthritis and intermittent fasting. There are plenty of studies on it. So I just kind of summarize all of that stuff for you when I come on these lives. But information is super easy to find, right? There's a beautiful thing that we have called Google. Try it. All right. So that is at the 48-hour mark. So that 48-hour mark is really, really important when it comes to reducing inflammation. It is really important when it comes to, if our goal is to get that immune system reboot, that is a really important mark. Now, at 72 hours, this is when autophagy maxes out, which means autophagy says, look, 3 days, I can do my thing. After that, I'm good. That's what it does. So 3 days, it maxes out. So what does that mean? We talked about, again, before, that more does not always mean better. You should know why you are doing it. I believe in eating with intentions and not eating with intentions, right? What is the purpose of this fast for you, right? Is your purpose anti-inflammatory? Is your purpose detoxification? Is your purpose to get an immune boost, right? That is how you're going to determine whether or not you should fast for 24 hours or 7 days, right? Depends on what your purpose is. Never fast more than 7 days, just as a side note. We talked about that yesterday. So at the 72-hour mark, that is when your autophagy, your detoxification process actually maxes out, right? You're not going to extend your fast in hopes that you're going to somehow become more detoxified. So if that is your goal, then the 3-day mark is exactly where you should actually end, and you should begin your refeeding process. So tomorrow is going to be my last day of my 3-day fast, and I'm going to talk about refeeding then, so stay tuned. I know that's a question that people want to know. What do I eat? That's really important, and we are going to dedicate the entire live tomorrow on that specific topic. But those are the things that happens between hours 24 to 72 of your water fast. And again, we're talking about fasting, just drinking water. I released a video today where I talked about a research study that shows that drinking coffee during intermittent fasting can actually help to accelerate the autophagy process, but it's not necessary. Remember that. It's not necessary. I don't want you to make this complicated. You don't have to drink any special water. You don't have to drink any special tea or coffee. You don't have to take any special supplement. Our body is an amazing machine of self-healing. Super, super, super important. All right. Those are the things that I really wanted to get across inside of our live. Sudani, I did a video, you can scroll down, about incorporating Islamic fast and intermittent fast, specifically about the 3-day fast. I answered about what we should drink. All right. So Caddy on Instagram, I talked about that earlier in the video, talked about breastfeeding. So you can rewatch it once we are all done. And we are actually all done. So I will talk to you tomorrow, and we will talk about refeeding after a 3-day fast. So until then, have a great rest of your day. Assalamu alaikum.